What is up, guys? Welcome back to the channel for another episode of Retro Reviews. Today's a very different episode. As the title says, I've been having video issues in the Sega room here. My Sega Genesis and the CRT television. Some video distortion. So once that happened, of course, I had to put my Sherlock Holmes thinking cap on and investigate, right? So we're on the case. So at first I just checked my composite video and audio cords. Of course, the video being the yellow, red, white, and yellow wires, right? The red and white's audio, the yellow's the video. They were somewhat like damaged. Okay, they were worn. They were kind of the little rubber thing kind of was on that connected to it was kind of broken, so it still worked. But I was like, okay, so maybe that's the issue. So I went to my local video game trader shop, and he had a new video. He had a new one, or a used one anyway, that was in good condition. So I got it, brought it back, because that's where you start, right? If you see some bad cords or bad wires, you start there, and work your way from there. So I went and got that, hooked it up to the Sega. Still didn't fix the problem. There was still a video distortion. Okay, so this is what it looks like with the composite video. So you can see the lettering here on Super Bowl. It's kind of warped, and even up there on the Tecmo. Yeah, it's almost like moving. It looks like it's moving there. See that? Okay, so let's hit to the start. It's also really noticeable on the start menu here. So yeah, you can really see it there at the top where it says season game. There's a good look at it. Yeah, see, it's moving there. My next conclusion is that it's the video input on the television itself. So therefore, like the capacitors, they dry out over time, and so stuff like that. With any type of electronic, older electronic equipment like that. This sort of thing can happen. So it's like, okay, there is a coax input on the back of the TV. So what I did was, now I went to good old trusty eBay and got me an RF switch, right? Now the guy at my local shop, he's like, oh, you can just use one that's from a Nintendo and it'll work. And it's like, it might, okay, but from past experience, I did a previous video when I was having those issues with the my Sega Genesis making this sound, right? And I discovered that it was like a generic power supply or AC adapter, whichever you choose to call it. It was like a generic, and yeah, it worked. It powered it on. You could play the game. But over time, I just noticed this annoying noise during the game, and finally figured out it was that power supply, right? I got an official Sega power supply, bam, fixed the problem. So I was like, okay, I'm not going to use your generic Nintendo. It's like, so I went to good old trusty eBay and got an official, I don't know if you can see that, Sega RF switch for the Genesis. There's a good on the back. There you can see it. If you want you want official gear, I would recommend always getting official gear like this with the, you know, officially licensed Sega stuff when it comes to that. So, because yeah, it may work in the short term if you use a Nintendo RF switch, but like I said, with that power supply, if there's a chance that there's going to be some long-term effects like damage, then no, I ain't going to do it. I always think long-term. I don't think about the short-term. Okay, like, because it's not like it's a situation like where, oh, I want to play. I need to play Revenge of Shinobi tonight. You know, I gotta play it tonight. You know, it's not like that. So I go for the long-term solutions whenever possible. So I got me an officially licensed Sega RF switch, and you, of course, being that I got the Model 1, you know, because I believe it might even be different if you had a Model 2. Okay, so from what I've seen, this actually would work on the Model 1. They said it would would work for the Master System too. So I'm thinking it might have been the same. I'm not sure. But for the Model 1 Sega Genesis, this was the one that I had to get the 1603 on the back there. So somebody would be like, well, maybe this, the RF, even if it does work, the RF isn't going to be as good as the composite video. And that's true, okay? But it's either have some, you know, it's either pay some ridiculous money for some guy that, you know, repairs older TVs, or just get a newer TV. But I dig this wood paneling on this one, so it's like if I can just get an RF switch and that fixes the problem, cool, right? It might not be as clear as the video, the yellow video composite, but hey, if I can use the RF switch and still, like I said, I dig the wood paneling on the TV. I'll show you what it looks like. But we're gonna turn the camera around here and do a test, and see if it does solve the problem. See if we can bypass that video input problem on the composite input and go direct with the RF switch. So let's get to it. So it's kind of got some issues. So we're gonna power it off and unplug it, and then we're gonna hook up the RF switch and see what it looks like then. Okay, so going back to RF, you are then going to be dealing with the snow here when it's off. So I got the RF connector hooked. It's on channel 4, so you have to make sure the channel's on right. So, like, because there's a channel 3 and a channel 4 on the back of your Sega Genesis console. So whichever you have it on, you got to have your TV on that channel. So I got it on channel 4. So let's see what it looks like. Power on. I don't know. Looks a little fuzzy there. I still see some distortion too. Let's go to the main screen. I don't know. Besides, let's go to that. Yeah, I still see a little bit of distortion there. Let's wiggle it and see what it does. And it is kind of loose back there. So there's still a little distortion there. Let's just go to let's check out a game. Let's check out some game footage. Plus, looking at this RF, it is pretty shabby, even what I can see. Now, it could be, like I said, it could be the TV, because I don't remember it being this bad, RF. Now, let's just, go with the cold ticket. Random team here. Oh yeah, yeah. This ain't doable. This ain't gonna work. This won't do. Clear. And look at that interference. A lot of interference there. So that's why the audio and video, you know, your yellow video composite was much better than RF. But yeah, I mean, let's just go ahead and, you know. So just for the record in the history books, we'll have us to look back on. This was what it would look like broadcast in RF. But probably even worse because there's still some distortion besides the RF interference too. Yeah, it doesn't look very good. I mean, I can see enough to still play it, and I could go through a whole season probably, but I'd rather not go through a season with, like, and also playing my other games looking like this. So yeah, I've seen enough. So at this point, the two options is to you know, try to find some guy that works on old TVs, and I probably could find somebody to do that. But the bottom line is, it would probably cost quite a bit just for the guy, for his time and any parts he might need. The parts probably wouldn't be the main thing. It'd probably be the labor, you know, his time involved. I had some work done years ago when I had those big full-size arcade games, and yeah, that guy could probably fix this because these are the same type monitors that was in those arcade games, and he probably could fix this TV no problem. Only problem is it'd probably set me back about $100 or $150 to do that because you know, he would charge for his time. He'd probably maybe more because, you know, he'd have to first come here and diagnose the problem. He may or may not have the parts needed, so then he may have to come back again. So that could be like maybe $200, $250 just to fix this TV. So that's one option. Or the other option is just go on Facebook Marketplace and find one for free. So of course, me promoting frugal living, right? That's of course what I'm going to do. So yeah, I mean, you could see there's a little distortion there. See how it's bent? You know, for me to do videos on this, I don't want that. You know, I'm trying to put out the best possible content to my viewers, so I don't want to subject you guys to that. Yeah, that looks awful. There's a lot of snow and interference there. But yeah, so it looks like that Chargers Broncos game will be the last broadcast that this television set will put out. Okay, that still looked good and was acceptable. Of course, I recorded that game before the TV started having the issues, right? So yeah, I'll be going to Facebook Marketplace and looking for a new CRT, a working CRT television, preferably 20 to 25 inch. That's about the size that I like for these retro games. maybe 27. But when you get 27 or bigger, they're like, this seems like they're like more bulky and a lot heavier. So I think this is a 25, and it's manageable. You know, I definitely don't want to. You know, I'm going to say 25 or small, either 20 or 25, something like that. Yeah, my experience with the 27s or bigger, even a 32, it's like they're huge and they're pretty heavy and bulky to move on your own. So, anyways, that's going to do it for the video tonight. So, maybe a gap of time between my next broadcast for a Sega Genesis game. But, you know, if that's the case, then now you know the reason for that. We're having technical difficulties here in the Sega room. So, but I'll find one and I'll get one, and then we'll be back in business, and you know, hopefully not too long. But that's going to do it for tonight. Leave me your thoughts in the comments below. Is this a good move? You know, to go get us just a different CRT that may not have the, you know, the cool the wood grain on the outside, but hey, you know, can't be too choosy when it comes to stuff like this. You know, being that they're kind of rare these days, you can't just go down to the store and buy one. You can't go down to Sun TV and buy one anymore. That was a local place we had here that, you know, I think that might have been the last store I bought a CRT television from. It was called Sun TV. They're no longer in business, of course. So they were kind of like, you know, like a Best Buy back then. You know, it was kind of Best Buy or Radio Shack. You know, like they had the stuff like that. It was like electronics. You know, they had televisions and washers and dryers, refrigerators, any kind of a home appliance. But yeah, leave me your thoughts in the comments below, and I'll get back to you as soon as I can. But if this is your first time to the channel, tap the subscribe button and the bell next to it. Ding ding. So until next time, guys, keep it retro. Final broadcast of this television.